Mammography is one of the best screening tools to find breast cancer.
Breast cancer may not be preventable, but you can survive it through early detection. If you're a mother or grandmother, sister or best friend,
aunt or cousin,
we encourage you to know your risk, make healthy lifestyle choices, and to know what's normal for your body.
Get screened, get your mammogram annually.
We did!
Fearful Blair residents say they're on high alert this Halloween. This as F&M MPs say there's alarm in the East over crime. The nation's murder count up 10% compared to last year. Plus, a man pleads guilty to possessing more than 100 pounds of marijuana. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith and NB12 starts right now. Topping news tonight, the Minister of National Security this evening announced that the National Security Council of the Bahamas met this morning and agreed to new crime-fighting initiatives aimed at intensifying the war on crime and curbing the recent spike in certain types of criminal activity in the country. The statement did not give details of the initiatives, but said they, along with assistance from the public, should see a reduction in crime. Notich also called on the judicial system to prove itself responsive to the public cries for a stricter approach to the granting of bail and the imposition of harsher and longer terms of imprisonment for accused murderers and other violent offenders. Those new crime-fighting measures are expected to begin immediately. Well, after a number of robberies and a recent home invasion and homicide in Blair Estates, residents in that area say they are frustrated with the level of crime and plan to take action to strike against intruders on Halloween. They say they are now taking the necessary precautions to ensure their families remain safe on Halloween. Simone Davis has more in this report.
Disgruntled residents in Blair Estates are saying no trick-or-treat in their neighborhood this Halloween. They are warning intruders that they are not welcomed because they are fed up with crime.
What's going on in here, we don't feel safe about Halloween, so we don't want no Halloween.
The kids them not safe either. They won't have no enjoyment in a community like this where they should even much, be peaceful and, happy. But it ain't look good, it ain't right, and it's nasty.
The aunt of the country's latest murder victim, Andre Cartwright, who was gunned down in Blair Estates while protecting his family from intruders earlier this week, says she wants people to know that Blair Estates is not as safe and quiet as they may think it is. She says the community is targeted by criminals on a daily basis, and the gruesome death of her nephew has forced her family to take extra safety precautions, especially during this Halloween season.
We're targeted daily here in Blair. A bulletin has been sent out for Blair residents not to engage in Halloween this year. So Friday night we were asking that if you don't live in Blair, please do not come up in this area. I said because we are not going to tolerate anyone that's coming in to wreak havoc on us. So we suggest that the government, whoever needs to send out a bulletin, do not come in Blair. The residents are ready.
Another resident says she no longer feels safe in her community because her husband was held at gunpoint just outside of their home during the afternoon, which left her family startled. They had to add extra security alarms in their home to feel secure. She added that because of this, her 3 children will not participate in any Halloween activities this year.
We're installing an alarm right now, and we put on extra latches on the doors and watching out for each other and stuff like that. So I'm not going out at night. It's just crazy around here. I just don't feel safe. I don't want to be out at night. I want everybody in my house before dark.
Some residents are now being forced to sell their homes and move out of the area because they fear for their life. One resident had an emotional reaction to crime in her neighborhood and says she's so furious that she would harm anyone attempting to hurt her family on Halloween.
Someone come to your door trick-or-treating, you wouldn't pay them no more?
No, I don't open my door no more.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis.
What happened in Blair Estates only proves Bahamians are not even safe in their own homes. This according to St. Anne's MP Hubert Chipman, who today said Bahamians are in fear and not sleeping well. The F&M MP also said the use of deadly force to protect one's life is warranted in these times, and licensed gun owners should be trained to use their weapons.
What has transpired in Richmond Avenue, where there was a home invasion, I think put every Bahamian at this particular time in fear. You don't know when you are next, right? If you were sleeping well, I don't think the average Bahamian right now is actually sleeping well in their house. You don't know whether somebody's going to kick down your door, whether you can protect your family. This is a major, major concern.
Chipman said when it comes to protecting your life or the lives of your loved ones, the use of deadly force is absolutely warranted. He said licensed firearms are issued for sporting purposes, but now the majority of people are using them for protection, and rightly so. He said Bahamians who purchase licensed firearms should be trained to use them.
We need to train our people how to use firearms when we issue a license, whether in fact we have training ranges or whatever. To have a firearm and not know how to use it is another thing, right? Even though you believe you may be protected, but I think everybody should be trained in the use of a firearm if they're going to purchase a firearm.
About an hour before the deadly Blair incident, there was another home invasion in western New Providence. Police reported a woman was asleep in her home when 3 men knocked down her front door at 12:30 a.m. The men robbed her of money, jewelry, and electronics before fleeing. In the wake of the deadly Blair incident, National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage said home invasions are not new when he was asked about the incident. He added there are too many violent crimes in the Bahamas and officials are working every day to overcome it. However, Chipman slammed the minister's comments as nonchalant, dismissive, and insensitive.
You know, Dana, at the time the minister made that statement, I was watching the news and I was somewhat taken aback. I held my head and I said, no, he didn't say that. Right? I thought it was very insensitive at the time. And I think a lot of people have made issues of that statement since then. It was said in a more nonchalant, dismissive way. While it may be my house today, it could be your house tomorrow. And no, and I agree with the minister, no, it's not new. But I think at the time it was said, it was inappropriate.
Chipman, in a joint statement with Montague MP Richard Lightbourne yesterday, called on Nottage to do all in his power to address incidents of crime and be more sensitive in light of tragedies. Chipman said although he believes the government is doing what it can and he commends the police force for its efforts, there's alarm in the East.
To be honest with you, Dana, we are alarmed in the East, right, particularly in the St. Anne's area and in the Montague area, which borders each other. Also, Fox Hill has been very, very active in terms of murders and crime and the works. So we are very, very concerned.
Despite countless reports that crime is down in most categories, murder in the Bahamas is up 10%, according to Nassau Guardian records. So far for 2014, the murder count is just shy of 100. Kyle Joaquin reports.
Despite police and government officials continuously pointing to a downward trend in crime, Nassau Guardian records reveal that murder is actually up by 10% compared to this very same point last year.
The murder rate in the Bahamas is up 10% over the number of murders recorded last year. For the period January 1st to October 28, 2013, there were 89 murders recorded. However, for the same period this year, there have already been 98. There were 5 murders recorded just this week alone. The most recent was 38-year-old Alton Davis, who was shot while riding his bicycle along Johnson Road on Tuesday night. Just hours before his murder, 44-year-old Andre Cartwright was shot and killed in his home as he protected his parents from intruders who were posing as police officers. Cartwright managed to shoot one of the assailants in the chest. Now, all 5 of the most recent murders occurred in New Providence. Just last month, Commissioner of Police Ellison Greenslade told our news team that all crime was down, including murder in New Providence. However, he did note that on a more national scale, murder was actually up by 5.
The facts are that for many months now, serious crimes have been down in every single category. The one category that has always been of concern to the wider community has been that category of murders. Murders are down in New Providence as we speak. Murders have been down in New Providence several times over the past few months. And overall, crime is down in every single category in New Providence in double digits. Every single category, with the exception of maybe attempted murder, and there is one other category which is not of much concern at this time.
There have been 9 murders so far this month. September recorded 5. However, several deaths that occurred this year have still not been classified. They include the 3 bodies that were found on Anguilla Key on April 3rd. Those bodies had tires placed on the top of them and burned beyond recognition. We reached out to State Minister for National Security Keith Bell for his reaction to the Nassau Guardian's findings. However, he refused to comment and directed us to the Minister of National Security. He could not be reached for comment. But just this past Tuesday, Nottage said that he is still confident the government is able to limit crime in the Bahamas. The opposition has repeatedly blasted Nottage for failing to reduce the high level of crime in the country, even after the then-opposition Progressive Liberal Party promised to do something about crime in the months leading up to the May 2012 general election. The PLP government has since acknowledged that crime is a social ill and should not be made political. Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
A man today confessed to being in possession of dangerous drugs with intent to supply because he didn't want to lose his home. He was found with more than 100 pounds of marijuana. 34-year-old Omar Hanna of Canterbury Park, seen here in the black t-shirt, told Magistrate Andrew Forbes he wanted the court to take into account that he did what he did with good intentions. Hanna was charged along with 35-year-old Bartholomew Pinder of Sandy Point, Abaco, seen in the white shirt, and 36-year-old Aubrey Pratt of Hannah Road with the dreadlocks. According to police, on Monday, October 27th, the men were found with 118 pounds of Indian hemp. Pratt and Pinder pleaded not guilty. Hanna, who admitted to having the drugs, said his co-accused had nothing to do with it. When asked by the magistrate if he thought of the consequences before trying to carry out the act, Hanna said, "I weighed my options and decided the wrong decision." He said he couldn't stand by and allow his home to be repossessed by the bank. His attorney, Roger Gomez Jr., asked that in sentencing Hanna, the magistrate take into consideration Hanna is a graduate of the College of the Bahamas, has a good job, and a 9-year-old child. Magistrate Forbes adjourned the matter to tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., where Hanna is expected to be sentenced, and a decision will be made as to whether or not there is enough evidence to continue the matter regarding the other